otherwise you can have.
Recording in progress.
Okay, this is the Monday, January 26th, 2026 Historic Preservation Commission, and we'll do call to order. Do a roll call. Commissioner Whiddon.
Here.
Commissioner Wilt. Here. Commissioner Keller.
Here.
Commissioner Beauchamp.
Here.
Commissioner Malloyne.
Here.
Commissioner Welker.
Here.
And Commissioner Peterson. I don't think she's here. The next item is approval of agenda. Okay, make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll second.
Thank you. The next item is approval of minutes from October, November, and December 2025.
I'll move approval of the October. Well, I probably shouldn't since I wasn't here. Never mind. Nope.
I got a couple of questions on it, Jessica.
Sure.
In my packet that you sent, I got the October minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not get November, December. I got November Planning Department minutes and nothing for December.
I think December might be in there, but I noticed the same thing. think
Okay,
we
I heard
got
that comment too.
Yeah.
Okay, that might have just been a clerical error. So we can do November and December are in there. We could just do November.
October is in there, but it does say Planning Commission on the header pages. You know, on the top right of all the.
Oh, I
pages.
see. But I believe they're,
That cut and
okay.
paste being done, so those need to be corrected to Historic Preservation Commission. And I didn't find a
I'm double checking.
November,
it now.
December. I did see November's planning, but nothing for November, December for our meetings.
Okay, we can bring this item back at the next meeting too, if that works.
Sure.
Are there any public comments on items not on the agenda?
Did you want us to approve the October minutes now, since we did get a chance to see those? Or do you
The
want 'em-
October are corrected?
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
October's in
Yep,
there.
yep,
I
that
move
works.
to approve the
Okay.
minutes from October 2025.
I'll second.
The next item is 2026 procedural items. The first is election of officers for 2026. So we're looking for a nomination for a chair and a vice chair with a motion.
I'd like to nominate Sloan as our chairperson for the next 20 decades or whatever.
I'll second that.
If you're going to follow in the steps of your predecessor. Second?
No, second.
Great.
Sloan, how do you feel about that?
I'm fine with it if that's what everybody wants.
Great. And then a vice chair as well. We need,
Nominate Marty Beauchamp to be the vice chair.
I second that. You all right with it?
I'm good, yeah.
okay.
That was easy. No dissenters, that's good.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's on the agenda or if it's appropriate to introduce our new commission members at this point or not.
Sorry, let's just take a vote on the last
Okay,
item.
sorry about that.
Commissioner Whiddon,
Do I vote on it? Yes.
Commissioner Wilt,
We're voting on whether to introduce the new members?
No, we're
No.
voting on
Oh.
the chair and the.
Oh, I'm like, what? We have to vote on that? Yes.
Commissioner Keller,
Yes, I agree with both those.
Commissioner Beauchamp,
Yes.
Commissioner Malloyne,
Yes.
Commissioner Welker,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson. Now that we have a chair, Sloan, you can take over the agenda.
I will do my best.
Okay, thank you. You'll do better than me.
Because
So,
I have never done this before. So the next item on the agenda is approval of the posting location for agendas. Can you review for us what those locations are?
The locations are Louisville City Hall, Louisville Public Library, Louisville Police Department, Louisville Recreation Center, and the City of Louisville website.
I'd move approval of the posting locations for Historic Preservation Commission agendas
I'll
as
second
described
that.
by staff. Yeah.
And then we didn't have a chance to ask if there's any public comments on items not on the agenda.
She
So,
did.
did you ask? Okay, okay. And then the next item is approval of the
Vote on the approval of the locations?
Do
Do
we-
we have to vote on the approval of the
Okay,
location?
Commissioner Whitten,
yes.
Commissioner Wilt,
Yes.
Commissioner Keller,
Yes.
Commissioner Beauchamp,
Yes.
Commissioner Malloyne,
Yes.
Commissioner Welker,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson. Oh, sorry, she's not here. Okay.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is approval of the expected 2026 Historic Preservation Commission meeting dates. Did everyone have a chance to review those?
Sure.
Yeah.
And that works for everybody
Yeah. Right now it does.
as best as we can anticipate.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion to approve the expected 2026 Historic Preservation meeting dates.
I second that motion.
Do roll call. Commissioner Whitten,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilt,
Yes.
Commissioner Keller,
Yes.
Commissioner Beauchamp,
Yes.
Commissioner Malloyne,
Yes.
Commissioner Welker.
Yes.
That's all.
You're flying with you in charge.
Okay. And then the next item on the agenda is probable cause for 524 Main Street. We'll have a staff presentation.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Jess Daniels. I'm a senior planner. The first case is a probable cause for 524 Main Street. So determining probable cause is how the Historic Preservation Commission approves grants for historic structure assessments. Landmarking criteria is used to evaluate probable cause, which is under the Louisville Municipal Code. And once approved for a probable cause, a historic structure assessment grant is approved, which covers up to $7,500 for residential properties in this case. This is a reimbursed grant, and it's non-matching. So these photos show the condition of the home over time. The photo on the left is the 1952 Boulder County Assessor Card photo, and the photo on the right is the present-day image of the property. So Palio West Stories in Place, the city's 100 architectural inventories, does not list this property. It's also not listed in the Cultural Resource Survey, and it's identified as a National Folk architectural type. National folk homes were associated with railroads and worker housing in general, and they were popular in the 1870s to 1930s in Louisville. And these are the dominant type of residential homes from that time. They're mostly basic and common with gable front and wing and side gabled features. So in considering the landmark criteria for this property, it was constructed in 1908 and it's around 118 years old. It has social significance due to its housing for many community members over time that contributed to Louisville through mining, social and cultural activities, including one member who participated in city council. It also has physical integrity, reflecting the mining history and immigrant community at that time, and it's maintained its historic footprint since 1948 from the Boulder County Assessor Card, or possibly earlier. So for these reasons, staff recommend approving the probable cause and a grant of up to $7,500 towards the cost of a historic structure assessment. So this concludes the presentation if there are any questions.
Does anybody have any questions? You're going to have to remind me who we invite next to speak.
Sure. Usually the property owner applicant, and I'm just going to check to see if they're on Zoom.
Okay.
So if the applicant or property owner is on Zoom, please raise your hand.
Do we invite public comment?
Not for this one, no. So it's just you deliberating whether to approve it.
Okay. I mean, I can start it off. What I noticed, which is nice, is that the early 20th century photos seem to represent the same window placements and door placements with the exception of the front porch. So there's great structural integrity and the social history is strong as well.
I would agree.
I didn't see any issues why I'd be concerned. I walked past it many times and wondered if that one will be eventually coming in front of us, so I was glad to see it.
It's interesting.
Any questions
Yeah.
this time?
It's interesting the social history too that it has. So yeah, I'll be in support too.
Okay. Well, it seems pretty straightforward. Does anybody want to make a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve probable cause for 524 Main Street for an HSA.
Do you need a second or?
Okay, we'll do a roll call. So Commissioner Whiddon,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilt,
Yes.
Commissioner Keller,
Yes.
Commissioner Beauchamp,
Yes.
Commissioner Malloyne,
Yes.
Commissioner Welker.
Yes.
All right, slow.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is probable cause for 517 Lafarge Avenue. First, we'll have a staff presentation.
Okay, this is a probable cause case for 517 Lafarge Avenue. Probable cause, as we mentioned, is how the HBC approves grants for historic structure assessments in the amount of $7,500 for residential properties in this case. And the landmarking criteria is used to evaluate probable cause. The photos show minimal changes over time to the structure in comparing the 1952 Boulder County Assessor card on the left to present-day images on the right. This property is not listed in the Paleo West Stories in Place or in the Colorado Cultural Resource Survey, and it is identified as a ranch architectural type in the 100 architectural inventories of the city. This was a Spanish colonial form that was prevalent in 1950 to 1970. They're often one-story and feature a garage or carport and reflect importance of the automobile in post-World War II American culture. So some defining characteristics are a low-pitched roof, small front porch, and other features. So looking at this property, it meets the landmarking criteria. It was constructed in 1950, so it's 76 years old. It reflects the mining history and immigrant community at the time, so it has social significance, and it's maintained its historic footprint since 1952. So for these reasons, staff recommend finding probable cause, approving a grant of up to $7,500 towards the cost of a HSA. I'm available for questions, and I believe the applicant has a presentation as well.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for staff?
No.
Okay. Would the applicant or homeowner like to say anything? And then, Is it work or residence, or is it just residence? Doesn't matter. And if you could please state your name and city of residence for the record.
Good evening. I'm Andy Johnson. I'm with DAJ Design here in Louisville, also a resident of Louisville. I'm going to take a quick moment, welcome new commissioners. It's nice to see new faces. Congratulations, Chair Whitten. Congratulations, Chair Beauchamp.
Thank you.
Looking forward to working with you this year. Like to make special mention to Commissioner Moline, who has an extensive amount of public time and volunteer time. So thank you for saying yes to your new role. Okay, so for tonight, we're going to talk about 517 Lafarge. This home represents an era and a style of home that we have talked about quite a bit over the years. There's been actually a lot of interest from HPC to look at post-World War II housing as a historic housing type. If you go around Louisville, you'll see this type represented in Old Town, actually quite strikingly a lot. Here's what's interesting about this home. So first of all, its time period meets our period of significance within the master plan. It kind of just comes in right under the wire. And if you don't know what that is for new commissioners, definitely read the master plan. It's actually an amazing document that was put together, I think around 2016. This would have been infill. So mining companies held properties throughout town. And as they started to close, as they started to have like serious financial issues, they started divesting of real estate. And so these properties came up for sale if a family hadn't already owned maybe multiple lots within a block. So this is a good representation of infill during mid-century times. This is the same time that water lines and sewer lines went in, between 1950 and 1953. So this home was one of the first that went in with a water line and sewer line, as opposed to other homes that were forced to add those later. And more than likely, and we'll talk about this later, the building materials for this home likely came from Steinbach. As you can see, the photo on the right, it obviously has held a high degree of architectural integrity. If you read the social history, it does have actually pretty decent social history. Sometimes we kind of, give a lot of latitude to social history. This one I feel like has decent, good social history. I won't get into that. The previous owners, before the current owner, were actually folks that I knew. I did their home at a Boulder Res, and I knew them well enough that they maintained their properties incredibly well. Even though this was a rental, it remained largely unchanged for that time period that they owned it. So it's a unique home just from that perspective, but it gets better. So this home is a style of home that was done by Weyerhaeuser. And so post-World War II, we had a building boom. We had to house a lot of people, and we had to do it quickly. Just like Europe, we had to do the same. And so Weyerhaeuser came up with this idea called the 4-square home. Now, they did lots of different models. This one just happened to be called the 5129. It was developed by Weyerhaeuser, and what they had started was this home building service. So instead of just selling lumber to the different vendors or outlets like Steinbach, they actually would do this idea of professional planning. So you weren't just buying the materials to build someone else's design. You kind of had this like pre-packaged concept. And so they had initiated this with a number of residential architects the list of which were all new to me. However, when I started looking at some of the architects, it was clear, like, these were architects that, even though they may not have been, kind of those brand named mid-century architects, they were clearly on the forefront of residential design at this time. So the home building services, it was kind of between the 30s and 50s. It was really defined in like 47 to 53. And so the concept was that you would come to a lumber yard and they would sell you the whole thing. They'd give you the blueprints, and they would give you this lumber package that was done so specifically that it would create a kind of this efficiency. So Weyerhaeuser at this time did this revolutionary lumber process. And it's what we all know as like pre-cut studs. But what they would do is they would take a high-end premium selection of lumber. They would square the ends. They would create exact lengths. They would measure and have graduated marks on the lumber every inch. So when you bought your set of plans, you would have lumber that was basically like ready to go. And all you had to do is just put it in place. And for us now, we all know that we do this already to a large extent, but at this time, this was a really big deal. And so Weyerhaeuser created this 4-square lumber, and that's where the 4-square came up. It had nothing to do with the design. It was really all about how they could sell lumber, their premium lumber, to the United States. And one of the things that they really focused on was the kiln-dried aspect. So it was to make a stronger, straighter home that is, move less, right? We're still using plaster. And so we're trying to avoid the nightmare of plaster cracking. So this was their solution to do that. The 4-square lumber came stamped, not unlike kit homes would have. This was not a kit home, but would come stamped. It was all very well branded and also very user-friendly. So it was designed to feature all of their premium woods. So Douglas fir, hemlock, ponderosa pine. This was also the time when they started introducing their 4-square plywood product. Prior to that, you would see boards diagonally across a wall or horizontally across the wall to provide the lateral stability. Now, all of a sudden, plywood comes in, and it becomes this, new, easier to ship, easier to use, stronger material. So here we are. We're in the pre-cut kit home era. Now, clearly, we're at kind of a tail end of the kit home era because Sears and Roebuck, Aladdin, all those came in like the 20s and early 1900s. But this pre-cut home was this new idea that, some of these monster lumber companies could now offer like a full scope to the people buying it from the lumber yards. So you could buy your plans for $5, $15, which is about what we charge for our services. And then at the time, a home would cost anywhere from $9,500 to $12,500. Sounds pretty reasonable. You get a really great product. Their marketing was that this 4-square lumber was to save labor costs, make it go faster. And the 5000 series, out of all of the series that they had, was designed around 5 rooms. So 5 rooms, 1 story. And so that's the 5000 series. So the 5129 is clearly a part of that. They called it the Rambler look. This is that low-slung ranch design. It's similar to a lot of the 4000 series, and I did do a little bit of a dive into that just to see like where the similarities were. These homes all averaged between 900 and 1,100 square feet. This one's just a little over 1,000 square feet. And it all fit within this 36 by 24 rectangle. Super rational, very, very builder friendly in terms of the module that it was designed and built on. The key feature of this design is that sweeping roof line, that long eave along the front. A little bit closer look. Again, featuring the kiln-dried Doug fir. It used Weyerhaeuser's wool fiber insulation. And this is that time when we're transitioning from coal-fired heating to a more modern climate control. So this would have been like a gas heater furnace with ductwork. Still kind of based on what the coal furnace looked like in terms of, kind of a central ventilation system and then, distribution out to the edges. But definitely far cleaner, far better, way more user-friendly than what had been done. If you look at the floor plan, even though it is different, there's a lot of similarities to 517 Lafarge. It is clear that they followed this. It's really cool to see that there is very little difference in this floor plan as opposed to what's at 517.
Just laughing because it's depressingly similar.
It is. It's amazing, which is cool. And yes. One of the things that Weyerhaeuser did in terms of designing this home is that it wasn't done. Like when it was built, that wasn't it. It was designed with ceiling rafters that then allowed the ability to expand into the attic into the future. Now, obviously, the roof form would take a different look and all that, but it was intended that you could modify the roof and put an additional 2 bedrooms, another bathroom upstairs as your family grew. As we know in Old Town, all the minor homes that would move from the mines or get built all had been added on to, right? Like it's not a one-stop build. It's we evolve. So this house was designed to evolve, taking cues from past development of downtowns and neighborhoods. In terms of preservation consideration, while this doesn't fit the minor bungalow, the 1900s home, it's significant in that this is like a museum of the Weyerhaeuser 4-square house. This one just happens to be the 5129. It is an exemplary example of post-World War II home building of the time, the residential architecture of the time. It represents a method in which homes were built and sold. And it definitely shows that time in Louisville where we were transitioning from World War II, from the mines, which, the last one closed in the 50s. It's this transition of what does Louisville do next? And so this home is sort of like a time capsule of that. And while you guys would probably approve this, presumably, without me going into this long-winded thing, it's cool to know that this is there, right? Like this is how we develop post-World War II. We know a lot about what we did pre-World War II, but we don't know very much about how all this happened post-World War II. And so this tells a really great story about it, and it's just such a perfect unchanged example, and you can see all the images right there. So anyway, I'm happy to answer any questions, but I appreciate you being patient and letting me go through this.
Does anyone have any questions for the applicant?
I do. Andy, are there more examples of the Weyerhaeuser homes that you've seen in town?
There are. Yeah, there are. And they are all different models, too. It's a little hard to catalog some of them, but and because they're so sprinkled around town, I am now very interested in learning more and like,
Thanks for sharing that with us. That was extremely
Yeah.
interesting. I'm wondering, do we know anyone, not just you, but do we know, are there any other of these Weyerhaeuser models that have been landmarked in town?
not that I'm aware of.
No?
Not that I'm aware of either.
But we do have several that were Sears kits, correct?
There are, unfortunately, a small number that are verified Sears and Roebuck homes, yeah.
Okay.
One actually isn't landmarked also. That's known. I believe the museum has tried to catalog that and did that a while back.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Any other questions?
Sorry. That background. So who do we have a sense of, was this building built by the mining company or no? Okay.
No, in the social history, there is a short section on, there was a building group of 3 men.
Okay.
The owner was a part of that, but the
Oh,
person who
I see
actually
that.
built it was one of the partners.
The Morrison brothers maybe or something? Is that something? No?
Yeah, there's like a, in the social history, there's
History,
like
okay.
an ad that came out of the paper that has their names.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Our deliberation is next, right? Okay. I mean, I can open it with saying over the last couple of years since I've been on the commission, we've talked about the importance of landmarking some appropriate mid-century architectural examples in town, in neighborhoods like Bella Vista and in, the core of Louisville. And this seems to meet the criteria really well for that sort of landmarking.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, Andy, appreciate all your thorough storytelling. It's much appreciated by the commission up here. Yeah, I'm totally in favor of moving forward, and then if we do so, I'll be interested to see if any of those signature markings are found once you get below the home.
The original windows are still there if you want to come see that.
Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah.
It's very cold.
Yeah, I love that the windows are in the same place and everything from what you can see in the photos look like, as you said, they didn't mess with it too much. It's kind of this is what it was. It worked for these years. They left it alone.
I do have a question. What did you say about the Steinbach? Did you say some of the pieces were bought from that, or was that just kind of like a retailer?
Yeah, so Steinbach Hardware,
Yep.
you're probably aware. you
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
Yeah, so the service that Weyerhaeuser provided allowed places like Steinbach to essentially sell their building services kit. So
Totally.
you buy the plans, and if you bought that model or a different model, you would have your bill of goods that you would then, be
Purchase from
buying along
Steinbach.
with it.
Absolutely.
To the point where they would, it went down to the poundage of nails. Like
That's
it was super specific, very little waste.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Andy, do you know, were those lumber packs being pre-marked and pre-cut at Weyerhaeuser's mill, or?
Yes.
They were. So then they would come in on a rail
Right.
to Steinbach, who would then say, all right, your special order stuff's here. Yeah,
That's correct.
That's amazing. Good.
I don't know if it was all their mills. Like I think at that time they had maybe either 12 or 20 stick out in my mind. I'm not sure if it was at every mill, but they kind of make it sound like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's great. Good stuff. Another no-brainer. We love these.
Yeah. I'll let you do it. I'll second.
okay. I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to approve probable cause for 517 Lafarge Avenue.
And I will second that.
The roll call, Chair Whitten,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilt,
Yes.
Commissioner Keller,
Yes.
Commissioner Beauchamp,
Yes,
Commissioner Malloy,
Yes.
Commissioner Welker.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
And the rest of the board.
The next item on the agenda is updates from staff.
Okay, great. I wanted to include this table of the work plan, not to bring it up for full discussion tonight, but maybe just as a reminder about what the commission worked on last year. And now that we have 3 commissioners, to think about it between now and the next meeting. And I'll put it as a item on that agenda for deciding what you want your work plan to be for 2026. But just as a recap, one of our big items last year was the grant program update, and that was adopted in mid-December. I sent you all a copy of the resolution just for your reference, and that'll be posted online shortly. So a large part of staff's work, and with a little bit of your support feeding into some of these subcommittee items, is implementation of that, which involves outreach to community members. So one thing that'll be really important with that outreach is the updated brochure and flyer, and that's something that Sloan and Marty, you were working on last year. So that's something that'll be really important for informing that grant update. Another item we had worked on last year was an online map. So updating a map that the city currently has with landmarked properties. And so this is something that our GIS staff member was supporting. So if we were to continue on with this item, it's currently vacant because 2 of the members that were on that subcommittee are no longer with us. So that's an item that could be worked on this year. There's also the Old Town walking tour that Sloan, you were working on with Linda, right? Yeah, so that's another one which kind of tied into the online map as well that our GIS and museum staff can support. And then another thing that was very important to the commission's outreach and education was the events subcommittee. And Talbot, you had been on that. And so that might be something we want to look at again this year. Last year, we talked about ways we can better activate your materials and presence at events. And we talked to the communications team so we can continue to get you better materials to support that. So the farmers market was one event. What other events did you do last year?
Last year's was primarily a farmer's market, and we started talking to look at ideas of using the Italian festival at the Memory Square, as well as the historic walking tour that the museum does of, I think it's schools and medical facilities, or just medical facilities, and possibly at those having booths at both of those events. And it also came up with a couple other ideas of possibly with the old timer baseball game around the concessions area, having something set up. So those are all things we'll look at, whoever joins me for this year. I'd like to continue and look at those, and now that we're a little ahead of the game, we'd have time to get things set up for those.
Okay, great. And we had training with Commissioner Welker and Commissioner Malloy previous to this meeting, so they might have some ideas as well for new subcommittees. So I just wanted to recap this and let it percolate over the next month, and we can bring it up at the next meeting. And then other staff updates. I sent an email out earlier this month. So there's a really great conference in Denver early next month from February 11th to 13th. It's the Saving Places Conference. We got 2 certified local government grants for this, and we have more budget as well. So as many commissioners can attend. If you don't want to go in person, you can attend online. The only thing is that there are attendance requirements to get the CLG grant. So if you want to hop in and out, we can register you with city HPC funds. So just let me know. I know Sloan is planning to attend, and that's all I've heard from so far. No pressure, but I think it'd be a great training if you're interested. And you can email me over. I think I need to know by this Friday. So if you want to register, please let me know by then.
Is that something you need to attend all 3 days? Is that,
Only if you're going to use the CLG grant, but if you don't think you can attend, I'll sign you up with Historic Preservation Commission budget for training budget. So that's no problem too.
Okay.
But there's just an attendance requirement with the grant, and they want you to write a little blurb about what you learned as well. And then the next thing I wanted to put on your radar, so Louisville gets annually, we have to submit a report about our compliance for meeting the CLG program. Every 4 years, there's an evaluation of Louisville's compliance. So at the February meeting, there'll be a CLG staff member. Her name's Lindsay Fleming. She's wonderful. She's been really helpful, has a lot of knowledge. So she'll be sitting in on the meeting. She's going to attend virtually, I believe. So she'll just be online in the sidelines. And then in April, we've been trying to tee up a training with you for quite some time. So we've scheduled April as a training for Lindsay to come. And if there are any topics you would like to learn more about, she would be happy to tailor that to you. We could do it as a general high-level local government training, or we could look at more specifics. So have a ponder on that as well. And let me know by email, or I'll add it as another staff update item at a future meeting. And then lastly, the next regular Historic Preservation Commission meeting is scheduled for February 23rd. This is because the Monday prior to that date is another holiday, so it'll be the 23rd at 6:30 p.m. And that's all I have for staff updates.
The next item on the agenda is updates from commission members. So for the benefit of the new commissioners, I am the liaison to the Historical Museum Advisory Board. So I go to their meetings. Normally I bring any updates from the museum and bring any updates from us to them. They meet every other month instead of monthly, but I could not attend the most recent meeting. So I shared with them that we had new commissioners, so that they could share that with their group, but I don't have any updates this month from them. Does anybody else have any updates?
no?
Happy to share. Do you want to know a little bit about who we are?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Do you want to go first? I can. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, either or.
Okay.
My name's Austin Welker. I've been in Louisville for going on 9 years. My family dates back over 100 years. They were Italian immigrants that moved here mainly for the mines, then started raising livestock. And that's a little bit about me.
Austin, what made you decide you want to come work with us?
I'm a big history buff. I also, my family had the East Street property. That was my family's homestead. And after that was demolished, I kind of had the light to preserve Louisville.
Welcome.
So I'm Jeff Moline. No worries. Long-time city resident, was on the planning commission for 12 or 13 years, just stepped off, and the council said, hey, we have a vacancy in the Historic Preservation Commission, so that's why I'm here. And I'm interested in this. I mean, I'm very interested in this community and excited about, excited about historic preservation here in town. I worked a long time ago. I worked for the town, worked for Louisville, and I worked for Boulder County in the open space program, and have a little bit of familiarity with our cultural resource stuff. So, for example, the Harney-Listoka property that the county and the two cities manage, we've had events over there. The county has, I'm going off on a tangent here, but at the county, we have a historic preservation crew that is trained in park service, preservation methods and restoration. And so just throwing it out there, and I know the tenant over at Harney-Listoka, but our staff does an amazing job of maintaining those buildings, and I think they're worthy of sharing with community members. So, just a thought. We've had events over there in the past. So, yeah,
Thank you.
you bet.
Do any of the other commissioners want to explain a little bit about themselves to the new commissioners? Might be helpful.
Sure. I too am a local resident of going on 18 years now. Been on the commission for 3 years. I'm an architect, so very familiar with the Old Town area. We've done several projects, but also pretty passionate about preservation as well. So that's kind of why I stepped up and joined the commission as well.
I'm Talbot Wilt. I was asked if I'd be interested in joining this commission after I successfully landmarked and restored 2 Old Town properties, both on Rex Street. So I learned a lot in the course of 4 years doing those 2 projects, and I love them both, and I make this open to anybody during our processes with the commission, that if anybody ever wants to see a couple of projects that were done with a very high degree of success, I believe, I'm always happy to show them off. So yeah, we can set up a time anytime somebody wants to come and check them out. I worked briefly with the National Trust for Historic Preservation on a downtown Main Street rehabilitation project in Maquoketa, Iowa, a thriving metropolis. But that was way back right after the Peace Corps, so I kept my roots involved in the love of restoring and renewing and repurposing materials, whether it's homes or anything else. I'm kind of a junk collector in my own way, but make things better afterwards, I believe. So that was my desire to get on this commission.
I'm Sloan Whidden. I've lived in Louisville for about 5 years now. I'm originally from Connecticut, pre-Revolutionary War town, so I grew up in a very historical environment. But my professional background is largely in museum anthropology. And so I used to work mostly, I still do some projects now for museums, but with exhibition design and logistics for temporary and traveling exhibitions, domestic and international. So how to make a curator's vision happen in real life and on budget. And then now I do primarily interior design projects. So, does anyone want to make a motion to adjourn for the night?
I have one more question. Do we
Okay.
have one more new member, or?
She is traveling right now, and I believe she was online. She's off. I think she's struggling with the winter weather. So she'll be here at the next meeting.
Great.
And her name is Jamie Peterson.
What is it?
Jamie Peterson.
Amy Peterson?
Mm-hmm.
I just had one other question as well, as far as the formality when we're voting on agenda items. In the past, didn't we just, we didn't do a roll call for everything? It was just all in favor. I don't know what that process is supposed to be.
I apologize because I'm normally not in the clerk role tonight,
Okay.
so I think I may have not done a few properly.
Yeah.
But I believe that normally, or would you be comfortable speaking to that because you have familiarity with it?
Well, I think on items that were, like the probable cause items and items that might be going to, that city council might have just real interest in, maybe a roll call on those, but usually upstairs in the planning commission meetings, my sense was that most of the other things could be done just on a voice vote. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
my recollection of the way we were doing it.
Yeah, agendas and minutes could just be
Yeah.
all in favor.
Right.
Aye, okay.
I apologize about the communication with staff tonight. We just didn't have our normal clerk. So next time we will, and we'll have a little more clarity around that. But that's how I understand it as well.
For the voice votes, do I call that vote or does the clerk do that? Do we remember?
So we would make a motion and a second, and then the clerk does do the calling of the roll. Yeah.
And just so, you know, I was wrong. I did find the December minutes in here when I was searching through again as we were going through this stuff. For some reason, some of my stuff, when I was looking earlier today, I missed a couple of pages on there, so my apologies.
Does anybody have anything else to add?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Thank
Yes.
Aye.
All right.
All right.
And sorry, if you don't mind coming up to the mic again, I'm sorry. We're just recorded.
We're thinking the spindles. We are waiting on another